And with that being said,
With that being said,
With that being said,
I'm really thankful I got that chance to go play at K-State.
With that being said,
thank you all.
and with that being said,
I am. Hey.
With that being said,
Hey guys, welcome to our 5 as 1 podcast. And with that being said, I wanted to throw it over to my co-host, Jerald Foster. Jerald, welcome.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's going to be a good day.
Hey, we got a lot of connections going on in this show tonight. I've got Jerald, who played for me in 2020 in the XFL, and I've got another spring football phenom who's doing his thing right now for the Washington Commanders. But I was blessed to be able to coach in a number of different spring leagues. Unfortunately, the 2 leagues that I coached both you guys in never made it through a full season, one time because of COVID. And Jaryd, I coached Jaryd Jones-Smith in the Alliance of American Football back in the day. What was that, 2019? Yes, we were with the San Antonio Commanders. And Jaryd is now, how about this? He's with the Washington Commanders. So he was a Mander from day one. Welcome to the show, Jaryd.
hey, glad to be here. Listen, it's crazy how it comes full circle like that, Himey.
No doubt, man. Now, give you a little background. I wanted to just kick this show off because we got a lot we want to talk about. You've had a well-traveled football career. Are you from Philly, right?
Well, Himey, New Jersey, but went to high school in Philly. Philly was pretty much my second home.
Got you. And you ended up going to Pittsburgh, played at Pittsburgh from 13 to 17.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so I'm going to try to get all these right here. So you've had a lot of stops on the world tour, man. So went to the Houston Texans, undrafted free agent, went to the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Then you were with me with the San Antonio Commanders in the AAF.
Yes, indeed.
Yep, and we were running the show out there, and they, unfortunately the league got defunct. Hey, by the way, you like the hat?
Oh, I love it. I noticed. Hey, I see the hat and I see the helmet in the background.
That's right, man. I walked out of there. With that helmet. When they told us that the league was shutting down, there were some sticky fingers, and I was getting some memorabilia. And little did I know it was going to be over in a heartbeat, and led me to really my opportunity with the XFL and end up coaching Jerald the next year down in Tampa. So it's all a blessing.
Like even more sticky fingers.
Definitely have to have some, because I'm definitely made that same choice walking out the XFL. I said,
yeah,
whatever I can take, I'm taking it.
Hey, we're just sports memorabilia hogs. You got to. Hey, this stuff's going to be worth something someday on the black market one of those days. So, so you were in San Antonio with us, and then you ended up signing, was it with the Dolphins?
Yeah, I signed with Miami right after that whole thing kind of collapsed.
Right. Then, okay, from the Dolphins, you ended up with the Niners.
Yeah.
Then the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Then you landed with the Ravens.
Yeah, had to stay with them.
And then XFL happened. I talked you into playing in the XFL, right?
Yes, you did. You were
hold on.
The day I got cut from Baltimore, you hit me probably like an hour later.
You didn't want to hear from me, though.
Not in the moment. No, I did not.
You're gonna tell me he's the first person you talked to.
I hit him up.
And you didn't even pick him up.
That's literally what I said.
I'm just saying, like, I'm sitting here. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm mathing where I'm mathing right now.
I'm mad. I'm mad at myself, Jaryd. I'm mad. I did not get you. So you ended up getting picked up by the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Yes, sir.
So played for the St. Louis Battlehawks, and Coach Anthony Becht played for who's your Pat Perlis was your line coach. Dave Bowler, who was the GM, he had been with the San Antonio Fleet back in the day with the AAF. So we'll get some XFL stories. So you did that. What, you were like all league in the XFL?
Yeah, all league, and crazy enough, I got suspended for 2 games and still made all XFL.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one, Jerald. My man got suspended for protecting his teammates.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Story.
yeah.
And then you rolled this into an opportunity with the Commanders. So this has been a long, winding road. You've had that passport stamped a lot of times. You signed a lot of contracts, and you are still chasing this thing. I was looking you up, and I found some pictures of you back in college. Looks like your hair's a little different than back in the day. You didn't have a whole lot up there.
Yeah, it's grown a lot since then. That's
I had a lot more hair in college, so I'll just say we've all changed just a little bit.
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm just hoping I don't change like that, Himey. I love you, brother, but I'm gonna tell you the God honest truth. God gave me a hairline, and I'm hoping He keeps it for me.
Oh,
I don't know.
Let me keep it as long as
Just
I
let
can.
me take it, big dog.
You guys are going strong, so I gotta live vicariously through you two. So, hey, so let's backtrack. You end up going to Pitt. Why'd you go to Pitt?
There's probably 3 reasons that stick out the most. The kids that I was coming in with, like I had met a couple during the All-Star games, like Chesapeake Bowl and the 833 game. And just our vibe and our chemistry together, it was just, yeah, it felt right. It felt like the right thing to do. Second would probably be the coaching staff. Like I was being recruited by Wisconsin at the same time, which is very big for sending that O-lineman to the league, everything like that. But my coach that I was being recruited by at the time was Jim Hubert, who had coached pretty much all the Joe Thomases and everybody that came out of Wisconsin. So to me, it made sense. I was like, I don't have to go all the way out there when I can stay closer to home and get coached by the great legend himself. And 3, and probably the most important, they respected my mom. Like I remember throughout that probably one thing that stood out throughout that whole process, because I remember my mom asked one of the coaches from Vanderbilt why he chose teams like UMass out of all the other schools that he went to, and he said that they respected his mom. Like being an only child, being raised by a single mom, if you're not gonna respect her, how can I expect you to respect me? And Pitt was the only school where it was like, if she called and they didn't answer, they called her right back next day or as soon as they could. Like there was never any miscommunication on anybody's part. They were always very clear as to where we stood together. As if she had any questions, they were always able to make things work out. And then
I know that's big. I know that's big for you, man. I know how important comfort level and family is for you, because that's something we talked about in San Antonio, how important family is and how close you are with mom and your family situation and everything. And I know you want to be around people that have your best interest.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge reason to pick a school. And, that's a big reason why we ended up picking Kentucky for Walker. My son, he's playing at Kentucky right now. It's all the way across the country. But, you got to go make your own way. You got to do your own thing, but you got to know that it's around people that have your back. So I totally get it on that.
Absolutely. Same thing as a parent for her. It was like she had to feel safe with the people that I was going to spend the next 4 or 5 years with. So, and it's crazy that, crazy story that's kind of related but not related. So I played all types of sports: football, basketball, track and field. So I want to say it was my junior year. I'm at a track meet, and I'm not really, me and one kid, we're throwing the javelin. We just kind of start having conversation, chopping it up, nothing serious. We look up. It's probably the one track meet my dad came to when I was in high school. Like my football games, dad came to all of them. But track meets, a little iffy, but it was the one meet that I vividly remember coming to.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in the stands, and we look up, we're like, oh, ironically, that's the kid who I've been sitting there talking to the whole track meet. That's his dad. So we go up there, we get, we're walking back up to our parents, and his dad is the kid whose dad, my dad's dad was talking to. His brother is the O-line coach that's recruiting me from Pitt.
No way.
Funny, it's the funniest thing. Like my dad, because I remember my dad walked up all happy. So guess what his brother is? I'm like, who? He's like the O-line coach from Pitt. I'm like, that's crazy, because I just talked to him the other day. He's coming through like at the end of the week, come have a conversation with me. Like, craziest thing. Like, my dad never met none of the coaches from Pitt before he passed. But that was one place I knew he wanted me to go. Like,
hey, that is like a connection that it just makes it feel right. That's just one of those things. You're like, the stars aligned with that connection and just that meet. And that just gives you peace of mind to say, yes, this is the right decision. So I take it, no regrets going to Pitt whatsoever?
Nah, none whatsoever. I wouldn't change anything. I enjoyed all 5 years. Great friends, great connections that last a lifetime, so I don't regret anything about it.
Did you play a couple different positions there? I mean, did you kind of swing both tackles, play all across the O-line?
I didn't actually play all across the line, but I definitely played both tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly left until probably my sophomore year. My sophomore year, maybe my red shirt, going into my red shirt sophomore year, was the first time I had to go play right tackle. And it was funny weird.
I was just about to ask. I was like, hey, I'm telling you, playing on the other side of that ball, I know that we're all taught we got to play all the positions. You got to play left and right-handed. But, man, playing the other side, it's a little different.
It's so weird, like, especially when you've been, like, only on one side. Yep. Like, literally, my whole football career, up until I got to high school, I played defense. So I only played defense, D-end, D-tackle. So the first time I played offense, I only learned left side, left tackle, all 4 years of high school is all I had to do. So, like, the first time I had to go right tackle, I never forget this, and it makes me laugh to this day every time. They called the play, and I said, what do I do on this? And they said the same thing you do on the left. And my mind could not fathom it. So, like, that whole, like, 5-7 yards between the huddle and the ball, I'm like, what do I do on the left side? Like, that whole, I'm just like, what do I do? Because
those 5 seconds turn into about 10 hours. You're sitting there like, oh, this thing's about to snap. It's about to snap. I got to figure it out.
Next thing you know, you just, your quarterback says, hey, oh.
You start moving. When you take a late step so you can see where the guard's moving, just so you guys can both be on the same way, you're like, I hope to God I'm going the right way. I hope to God I'm going.
And the craziest part, you pay no mind to the defense whatsoever. You're like, guard,
don't care.
Am I going the right way? Okay, we're going this way. All right, cool. Anything else, we'll figure out when we watch tape.
We'll figure out all of
it. I already know. First thing coach gonna say, what is this, coach? I don't know. I don't know. We don't teach that technique. I know. I
love it, man. And now what? Now you're playing guard. Look at you. Right, left, inside, outside. You like
pretty much everything but center. Everything
yep.
but center at this point.
Hey, you're too damn tall to play center. Let's be real. What, 6'7"?
Everybody said that. Because every coach, I'm like, coach, let me try. I did snap in 5th grade. When I was in 5th grade, I did snap for like 3 weeks. I was in 5th grade.
You were 6'2".
Hey, they're taking the snap like this. They're like,
we're at 80.
They'll be getting underneath you with the QB sneak easy, but hey, I bet you've had some story. You've had a lot of different line coaches, man. You've had to adjust. You are adaptable. I would say would be an easy description of you.
Listen, I really have had some line coaches. Like the first time when I got to the league, the first time the team told me to go to guard, was actually San Fran. Like, mind you, it was, so 2019 was a very wild year. Because, mind you, we had our season with the AAF and we were having a great run. Oh, I wish we got to finish the season. Because we were having such a great run. And I remember the Miami, I was so happy I was the one team I was happy to get cut from. Because Flores has just got there. And immediately he said, I'm in D-Lim and got to wear knee braces. Nah, I don't want to wear knee braces no more. They made us wear them in school. I don't want to wear them.
Did you wear them at Pitt?
Yeah, we wore them at Pitt. I was like, I don't like. Then I got hurt, so I had to wear one, and I was like, I don't want to wear one no more.
My coach did the exact same thing, having us in knee braces all 5 years. You're saying like, hey, after you got done with the injury, you're just done with it, going in Miami, and they're trying to make you wear all these knee braces and stuff like that. As a guy that ended up, I had a MCL. That would be the only knee injury I have. What exactly happened to you? Why are you so against the knee braces?
Oh man, I dislocated one knee, tore 3 out of my 4 ligaments. The only thing left taking on was my MCL and meniscus. I think I tore like 2 muscles. It was really bad.
Sounds like it. Golly.
Yeah, they said it had the bone. So the way the bone dislocated, it was sitting on the artery. And they said another 10 minutes, and they might have had to cut it off.
My God.
Mind you, I was like 19 at the time. So like, 19, I just played the year before. Like I didn't start, but I played. I was projected a 3rd round pick on in this year. I was supposed to be a starter. And then you tell me you might have to cut my leg off. It was like everything just.
Now, what year were you at Pitt when this happened? Were you young still?
I was going into my redshirt sophomore year.
Gotcha. So,
like, and that was the year Coach Chris had just left. So now Doozy had just got there. Like, we had just had a whole new, like, all spring, whole new coaching staff, like the whole new offense. Like I said, I was supposed to be the starter on the right side. And yeah, that whole thing just kind of happened like that. Middle of the summer, literally, like June 24th, 2015.
got it down to the day. How about that?
It's a life-changing day. I would never forget that.
So, okay, so you rehab, you get surgery, you rehab, you miss the whole season.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? So you ended up wearing knee braces the rest of your college career. When you ended up going to the NFL, were you like, okay, I'm finally free. I want to be able to run. I want to be an athlete. I want to go out and do my thing. Did you right away say no knee brace when you were going through combine, when you went to the Texans your first year?
Nah, so physically, it took me a year to get over it. Mentally, it took me a good couple years to, like, quite honestly get over it. It took me up until San Antonio, if I'm being in all honesty, Himey. Like, it took up until San Antonio. Like, that was when I stopped wearing a knee brace completely.
Because I don't remember you wearing one.
Yeah, like, I wore one during camp, and then halfway through camp, I stopped wearing it, and like my mental confidence just took off, and that was all she wrote, and I haven't worn one since. Like,
I remember that being like a big thing. Our trainers, they told us, because after I had my MCL and I had to get it all screwed back on, doing all that stuff, they're like, your knee is fine, but I know what's going to be hard is you trusting that your knee is fine. It doesn't matter how many times we say it. It's about you believing so that you can play the way that you used to play, and that's the difference. That's such a big difference, just your own mindsets and You know, even if it doesn't hurt, you start thinking that it hurts, so then it starts to hurt. You know, it's crazy. It really is.
It really is, and they're always constantly worried about hurting, especially like when it's a ligament. Like that was one thing me and Nick were talking about, like when we first, kind of had some free time to get to just kind of get to know each other. Because Nick, like, I dislocated my knee, whereas Nick shattered his leg. Like, so
Let's talk about Nick Gates.
yeah, so he's got like a metal rod in his leg. So like to him, he could never break that again. So he don't even think about it. Where I'm like, nah, if I take a wrong step or it twists a wrong way, in my mind, everything just popped again. Like if you take a certain wrong step, so you're always thinking about it. So it's like to get to like I said, for me, you figure the injury happened in 2015. And honestly, it didn't happen until 2019 for me to like really get over it mentally. I was like, yeah, it takes a long time.
That kind of reminds me about our experience in San Antonio with the Alliance of American Football. You had a ton of, and I don't mean to say this the wrong way, you had a ton of potential. And now it was like, okay, this guy needs to get snaps. He needs to play. And I thought every game you got better. And it now makes sense to me down the road to say, you really started trusting your knee. You trusted your leg. You trusted to say, I'm going to take the brace off and I'm going to play. We ended up playing 8 games. And I think you didn't start in the opener. I think I rotated a bunch of guys. And then once you played well in the first game, I was like, I can't take him off the field. And then each game, just more and more and more, you were kind of like locking it down on the left-hand side. So we went, 5-3, won 8 games. We had like 2 more to go in the regular season. Then they ended up pulling the plug. The league kind of folded just with financial issues. But it was a great opportunity for the guys on our team. Yeah. And our head coach, Mike Riley, who, coincidentally was at Nebraska.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was about to say all these touches because with the AAF, you would have known, wouldn't have been Jordan McCray would have been the center?
He was in Orlando.
Or was he in Orlando?
Oh, he was on the Orlando team. So yeah, there was a lot of guys that had gone in the AAF that ended up bouncing around, ended up coming back to the XFL. So I'm sure you guys know a lot of people. We already referenced friend of the program, Nick Gates, who played with Jerald at Nebraska, and you're now with the Commanders. But like a guy that's still playing right now, who was our backup quarterback, Logan Woodside. Yeah. And Logan was like, same thing, kind of started playing, kind of didn't really get a whole lot of time till maybe week 2 or week 3. And now is he still in Tennessee?
Nah, he's with Atlanta right now. He's back.
Oh, that's right. He's with the Falcons. So he was with Atlanta Tennessee last couple of years, and then just landed in Atlanta. And like my man was our 3rd quarterback, and he's just one of those guys that used the spring leagues to give himself the opportunity to get film, play ball, just like you guys both did. And the Alamo Dome was a pretty cool situation. Like we had that thing rocking down in the dome down there.
Listen, that's why the San Antonio Brahmas, I'm like, listen, they could never be what we were. That they could never be us. That I'm like, San Antonio always has a special place in my heart.
That place was so much fun to coach, man. Oh. That crowd, that community, they loved ball. And yep, they had a franchise in the XFL. But when I looked up there when we played San Antonio this year, I saw a bunch of people wearing Commanders jerseys, and they were like yelling at me like they were Psycho fans. Yeah. They knew that I had coached there years ago. It was crazy, man.
They still remember it. Like,
now, did you play there? Did you play when you were in the XFL this past year? Did you play down in the Dome? Wasn't that your first game?
First game in San Antonio. First game and first comeback win of the XFL season.
Did y'all have the overtime?
Nah, it wasn't. We had the first overtime, but it wasn't until we played Vegas.
I got you.
We were down.
That's right. You guys had a big comeback.
Yeah, we were down. I think it was like 9-3 3 or like 12 to like 6 or something like that. We scored like 15 points.
Like in the last 2 minutes or something crazy. You went for the 4th and 15. You guys got it done.
God,
That was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I remember you talking about that, Himey, because you were like, "This is like we pretty much broke all that down." You're like, "Wow, look at footballing in the springtime," which was great to see.
It was fun. It was a time.
No, you guys did a good job over there, with your time in St. Louis, springboarded you to this opportunity now. Jaryd, do you have Jaryd? I knew I would do it. I knew I would do it. Too many Jaryds on this damn show. Jaryd, if you had any advice, so you've been around the block. You've been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 NFL teams right now. You've done 2 spring leagues. You've been through the ringer at Pitt, right? You've been through injuries. If you had, and with that being said, any advice for yourself 10 years before when you were in high school, what would you have done differently? Who would you have listened to? Any advice you have for like our listeners, the kids that we train, anybody, any parents out there, and with that being said, you got anything you would drop to anybody 10 years prior?
There's a couple of things. One would just be continue to believe in yourself. That's number one in this game. You're not going to get far if you don't believe in yourself. This game is 60% mental, 40% physical. If you really be honest, like the mental days are really the tougher days in this business. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to open your mouth. If you don't necessarily agree with something. And, always be hungry. Always be hungry to learn, whether it's football, business side, because there's a lot that goes into this. A lot of my coaches the past couple years, XFL and NFL, have all been former players. So just being able to learn, from them, from the player standpoint or from the coach's standpoint, you start to see and understand the game a little differently and understand what goes into it. So, sometimes as a player, you might question why coaches do certain things, but then when you start to sit down and talk to them and understand how their mind works and the difference from being a player and being a coach, okay, and then you start to understand it a little bit better. Just always being willing to learn, even outside of football, because, life is bigger than football. Life is more than football. Something I've been going through the last year and a half, 2 years is, what is life without football? Something that I'm sure both of y'all went through at some point, still probably did a little bit from time to time. But yeah, that's just been my, what is life without football, where I'm at mentally, just, so, yeah, I kind of got off on the tangent there, but.
That's passion, man. That's passion, because that's the thing. You always played with passion, and you bring that to the locker room. You bring that to the O-line. You brought that to the meeting room, because this means something to you. And we talk to the kids that we train. Don't let football use you. Use football to open up avenues for the rest of your life, whether it's a relationship with a coach, with a teammate. You guys both know Nick Gates. Like I ended up coaching you, Jaryd, and then had Brian Folkerts again in the XFL this past year. Like, he's a guy that I helped get into coaching, and then he said, hey, I might want to dust it off, and lo and behold, he's back playing again after being a 6-year NFL vet. So those relationships go a lot further than the meeting room, and for us to talk, like we text each other, but we haven't talked in a hot minute. And it just feels like we're back in 2019, back again. Those relationships are something that you can never lose.
No,
Same with you, Jerald.
Yeah, that's him saying stay hungry, not only on the field, but also, just understanding that you can try to be the best you, not only on a football field, but off the field, being able to well manage your time, being able to see, what am I able to do to better myself in every aspect of my life. That's the kind of stuff I think a lot of these young guys need to hear. They need to understand, like, football, I mean, God blessed us all three of us with years and years and years of the good game, right? But who knows? You never know how your season's going to go. You never know how if that's the last season that you're going to play. So you just got to take advantage of the time that you got and enjoy it. I love hearing that.
absolutely. That's something I tell the youngers at the gym that I work out at, like, because they always come up and ask me, what's the biggest difference between college and the NFL? I'm like, quite honestly, it's the free time. Like, once you get out of practice, you don't have class and no study hall, ain't no art or homework. It's free time. It's you and whatever you do when you go home at night, play video games, chase women, whatever you do is what you do. And it's just like, it's really just that time away from football is really, you don't understand how big it is until it's really just you sitting in your apartment with your video game or your laptop for hours on end, and you're like, dang, I don't know what to do with myself. Yeah.
And that's one of the things, being proactive with the time you do have when you're away from ball, whether it's in season, off season. I could tell you're a guy that takes your training seriously. You have worked hard to get where you're at now. Anything that you've done differently throughout all your stops, throughout the places you've been, that you've kind of changed in your training regimen with how much, whether it be diet or where you train or who you train with or where you train, anything that you're kind of doing different now than you did maybe coming out of school?
I'll probably say I'm back with the people that got me to where I was to begin with. Kind of coming out of school, not knowing much and being undrafted, kind of in this bubble of, I got to do, what such and such is doing. I got to stay working out here. I got to work out here. I just kind of got into a mode of, I'm going to do what got me. I'm going to go back to what I know, what works for me. Because you just, like I said, everything's not for everybody. And I know what things I've incorporated since 2019 when we first met Himey. I got in the boxing is very just, conditioning, and you naturally got to keep your hands up. Because I'm like, one of the things Coach Huber said that like made offensive line play just click to me was you're playing defense with your feet, because I played basketball. So you play defense with your feet, and then you just start jabs with your hands. And it just made so much sense.
I love that. I love that, man. I don't know that I've ever heard that before. I mean, I've heard people talk about moving your feet like you're playing basketball, but to tie it all together like that, that's a nice analogy.
Look, and that's the way I've always looked at it. Because I'm like, for me, I was a basketball player before I was a football player. Like, if you would have asked me,
Hooper.
like, if you would have asked me like 8th grade, 9th grade, I'm finna be a hooper. Then like sophomore year, I realized LeBron's 6'8". I'm 6'4". He plays at 3. I play the 5. Unless I grow another 5-10 inches, I gotta learn some different skills in terms of basketball.
Gotta find me. You gotta find me a new sport.
It's not gonna work out. Football is gonna take football gonna take me a little bit further. Basketball, I might go D2, D3. Football, D1, easy.
I'm happy you learned a lesson better than I did. I mean, I'm sitting at 6'3". I was like, this 6'3", I still got it, baby. I'm stuck on breaking across. I still got it. Man, I remember I ran into back in high school. We played these 7-footer. My God, I had never been more like, okay, yeah, this ain't my sport. I was like, I love this sport.
Somebody take your auto away real quick. You see something, what you be like?
You go, okay, okay, yeah, good for you, big dog.
Take my jersey. Would I get my jersey?
Hey, it's all academic. When you start looking around at more opportunities, there's more chances to playing O-line, right?
When all the kids that I play ball with can start windmilling, I said, yeah, I can't do that. Oh, I still got the basic one-hand package and two-hand ring razor at this time.
He said, I got the starter packs. I
got the starter package at 2K. Nah, no one's up on there. Shots. I'm a hawking windmill. You got that, coach. Nope.
I'm gonna take this as a chance to do one of our sponsors. We out here in Colorado, we work with a place called Fix Sports. They're located in Monument, Colorado. They would be definitely in our eyes, and I feel for everybody that works out in the Monument to Colorado Springs area as the #1 performance facility. Take your skills to the next level with the proper training in muscle activation, nutrition, physical therapy, and sports performance. Ask the staff of Fix about their off-season training program. And if you just want to get better, go to Fix if you're in the area. And if you're not, make your way. Drive. It doesn't matter. You got to be with the best if you want to be the best.
Hey, we're going to have to talk to the guys at Fix about putting a hoop up with all this talk. Jerald.
They got the hoops out there. Don't worry. Himey, I can show you.
I know they got the gym next door, but half the time there's pickleball being played on that gym court. But
you don't believe it?
We might need to get a pickup game with the boys out there with some of our off-season training. But right now it's getting playoff time in high school football. Like, it's getting big time right now. So there's some big focus on the training. Guys are getting after it, first round, second round in playoffs all over the country. And a lot of the guys that we're training with, since you threw out a sponsor, I got to hit one too. And one of the guys that I met when I was coaching in Arlington this past year went to the O-Line Mastermind Summit with Duke Manyweather, Clint Anderson. And he trains at his company, Lineman Performance Academy. So he trains the likes of Creed Humphrey, Lane Johnson with Philly, a bunch of Oklahoma grads, but also works in the DFW area with his 5-strong training and his Lineman Performance Academy. And you guys have probably seen some of the gear. We use it with our 5-as-1 training with the torque wheel and the suit bone. And so we use it with our training. Want to thank Clint for supporting 5-as-1 and our training with what we're doing with the kids out here in Colorado. And Jaryd, there's some expansion going on, man. We're going to have some 5-as-1 training going on out in the Carolinas, back in Texas. I think we've got something going potentially up in Oregon. We got some stuff talking about in Cali again. So 5-as-1 O-line training. I know you got one of the original shirts. We got the Commanders back in the day with the San Antonio Commanders, one of the 5-as-1 logos. We had the Manders Grunt Squad and had our gear, the undershirts that we had the boys rocking. So everywhere I've ever coached, unfortunately not at Tampa because COVID.
I was like, as you said that, I was like,
everywhere I've ever coached, pretty much. But COVID kind of crushed that before the T-shirts came in, Jerald. But you got plenty of swag. But that's one of the things that I believe. That's why I love coaching the offensive line, because you may have 5 really good players, but it's got to be the 5 best in your unit that makes a great unit on the offensive line. And I love coaching the position. I love the opportunity and the memories that we've had together. Jaryd, coaching you in San Antonio, seeing you do your thing, and I screwed up. I didn't draft you. We were such a low draft pick in the XFL. I couldn't get you in 2023. I was lucky enough to coach Jerald in 2020. So I had some time with both you guys to be able to do your thing. But I loved our groups. I think we had fun groups, and I try to coach it. I try to hold guys to a high standard, but also I want the players that I coach to be able to speak their mind and not come in a meeting room and feel like they can't have anything to say, whether it be scheme, technique, drill work. I want guys to be invested in what we do.
Just being able to be in a meeting room where you feel relaxed and you know that the questions that you ask aren't going to be judged. They're going to be accepted, and people are just trying to look for the same information, right? That's like such a big thing, because I don't know, for anybody that, has played as a, trying to play football as a rookie, or it's your first year in college, things like that, and you're just trying to get the information that you need to try to be a better player. It's a little nerve-wracking. It's kind of hard to take yourself, out of that, oh, I'm going to sit in the back and not talk, to then being able to kind of move forward and be like, all right, you guys, most of you probably know the answer to this, but I still don't know it, and I need somebody to give me clarification. And that was something I felt like we had for the Vipers. Definitely, we're probably just like the Commanders with, the age differences. We had some of the old 32-year-old guys, and then we had the 23, 24-year-old guys in the same room, all just trying to get in there and just be the best we could be, which I think that's probably the biggest thing that the XFL, AF, USFL, that they do well, is that you can just see that all these guys are trying to take another step. They all want to keep that journey going. And because of that, it's a lot of fun football, and it's a lot of good people all together at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It's crazy. When I got I got back in the NFL, everybody always asked, so how was that? Like, how was that experience? And I'm like, just being brutally honest, it's a lot of fun, because there's no politics, there's no contracts, there's none of that involved in it. Like, when we got to the XFL, our OC, Coach Bruce, was literally every day make us be like, what's your why? Like, what's your story? Like, why are you here? So it was like, no matter if you were old or young, we all understood everybody's story. And it's like, we're all here just to play ball, whether it's I just want to play it just to make myself feel good. I want my kids to watch me play. I want another opportunity. It didn't matter what it was. We all just wanted to play ball, and it just made it that much easier to put it all out there. And if we get an opportunity, we get an opportunity. If we don't, we get to run it back next year with the same group of guys. So let's do it. So
that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about our time in San Antonio. Like, everybody got a chance to stand in front of the room, and just the O-line room, and talk about what's their why, what's their family, what's their reason. We did the same thing this past year in Arlington. That's one of the things I regret not doing with our group in Tampa. Just doing like a dedication day, or giving the guys just an opportunity to talk about what got them here. And, I try to do that with most of the groups. And we had a really special bond in Arlington this past year. And we'd go out, like you talked about, you guys went to the movies on Thursday night. And I just said, hey, you guys want to go grab something to eat? And I know they spend enough time with me that the players sometimes want to get away from the coaches, and that's totally understandable, but to like take the O-line out, we would go to Vaqueros Texas Barbecue up in Grapevine. And those guys took great care of us, Trey and his staff. So I want to shout out to one of our sponsors, Trey, at Vaqueros Texas Barbecue. They would hook up the offensive line. We go up there Thursday nights. Sometimes they got into those tacos pretty hard, and they were like, Coach, it's kind of rough on Friday practice. All of a sudden we get after those tacos, and it's like some of those meetings were rough. They were like, Coach, I need a bathroom break before we can get in these meetings. I get it. But shout out to my guys up in Grapevine. not only Vaqueros Texas Barbecue, then they're opening a new location in 2024 and up in Allen at the Waters Creek Village, but also Hop and Sting Brewery. They took care of the XFL champion Arlington Renegades. So I know Jaryd,
he's been
Jaryd,
waiting to
sorry,
say it.
man.
Get in there, like,
Hey man, they didn't get in the playoffs.
Why is he? He's been holding this one.
oh man.
Oh, he held that one for a good while too. I was waiting. That was a wild
Really
lead.
had to do that one, man.
So for this last question, it's going to be sponsored by Ray Crowther and Tip of the Spear Blast Shields. They're one of our sponsors. They allow our coaches, players to take the most dominant techniques in the game into their own hands and do it during practice and training sessions. So shout out to them. The last question is, well, it's more me asking, what would be your last 2 cents? The last 2 cents that you would put into the pot that you want to give to younger guys, that you want to give just to the people who are listening. What would it be? It could be about a line play. It can be about the rooms that we've been talking about, being out there. If I'm going to throw a hook or a jab, if it gets into a fight, whatever you want it to be, you just tell us.
If you're going to follow a vet, make sure it's the right vet. And what I mean by that, the guy that shows up, and the guy that shows up and is consistently good on film, consistently doing what he needs to do off the field. That's sparring. And then if you are going to fight, keep your helmet on, make sure their helmet gets off so you can throw the punches easier.
There he is.
And if it's not going to come off, open hand, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, you better protect him. You better not be busting any fingers, busting any knuckles, getting caught in the face mask, right?
Yeah. Can't afford to lose the knuckle trying to punch somebody in the face. That face mask is too hard.
I don't know anybody that's going to have a longer reach than you, Jaryd. Come on now. Like, you got that wingspan.
Same wingspan as Dwight Howard. Same lift as Dwight Howard. At least
that's why you're such a protector, man. That's why you're one of the best, man. And I appreciate you coming on and being a part of the show. Jaryd, I'm proud of you. I appreciate you spending some time. I know it's getting late. You probably got practice meetings first thing in the morning. You got to get back to it. And love seeing you out there doing your thing, and keep this thing rolling. And with that being said, man, super proud of you. Thanks for coming aboard.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. Definitely got to do this again. Definitely have fun, a lot of conversations, a lot of stories. But yeah, man, listen, appreciate you having me. Listen, that means a lot. We got, like I said, we got some history, man. 2019, we really got some unfinished business, but we, in our minds, we still know we the champs, man.
Yeah, they did some bogus rings for the Coach Spurrier did some bogus rings for the Orlando Apollos of the unfinished Alliance of American Football season, but we'll see. I don't know if that one ever finished, but a lot of those guys kept playing, and spring football is here to stay. Hopefully this thing can keep rolling, give guys like you great opportunities. Both of you guys were able to continue playing the game. So Jerald, appreciate you leading us into this night, and with that being said, man, we'll see you next time.
Appreciate you, Jerald. Appreciate you, Coach Himey. Love y'all, man.
Love you, bro. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.